and went up on the mountain to pray. And while he was praying, the appearance of his face changed, and his clothes became dazzling white. Suddenly they saw two men, Moses and Elijah, talking to him. They appeared in glory and were speaking of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. Now Peter and his companions were weighed down with sleep, but since they had stayed awake, they saw his glory and the two men who stood with him. Just as they were leaving him, Peter said to Jesus, "Master, it is good for us to be here. Let us make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah," not knowing what he said. While he was saying this, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were terrified as they entered the cloud. Then from the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my son, my chosen. Listen to him." When the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone. And they kept silent, and in those days told no one any of the things they had seen. On the next day, when they had come down from the mountain, a great crowd met them. Just then a man from the crowd shouted, "Teacher, I beg you to look at my son. He is my only child." Suddenly a spirit seizes him, and all at once he shrieks. It convulses him until he foams at the mouth. It mauls him and will scarcely leave him. I begged your disciples to cast it out, but they could not. Jesus answered, you faithless and perverse generation. How much longer must I be with you and bear with you? Bring your son here. While he was coming, the demon dashed him to the ground in convulsions. But Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, healed the boy, and gave him back to his father. And all were astounded at the greatness of God. The Gospel of the Lord. I invite you to be seated. This morning, we continue with the last installment of our Stewardship campaign. And so instead of me preaching this morning, don't get excited. Greg Whitney is going to come up and speak with us in my stead.
So for the visitors, you probably say, no big deal. All the people that normally come are like, oh no, he's going to talk forever. And it's okay because my wife asked me when I'd be home today. I told her I should be home by 2. So you're okay. So greetings. Welcome to our visitors and our members that are here. This is again a reflection of our stewardship. Sometimes these talks can be a little difficult because you're trying to do those things that are a little hard to talk about at times. We ask you to do some extra things. We might talk about money, that M word. It's almost as bad as the E word to evangelize. So, but we won't talk about that word today. We don't want to overload you. So, but what I'd like to do is to key in a couple words today. One is gratitude, and the other words, a little bit more than one, is seeing God's face, which Pastor Elaine talked about 4 Sundays ago. We had some tables out, we talked about it, and where we might have seen God that week. So what I'd like to do is to share a song with you. Fortunately, I'm not going to sing. So it will be played. And for the people that are streaming, because of licensing issues, you'll be muted for the song. But if you want to hear it, please just send me a text or an email, and I'll send that to you. So Tanya, if you could. So you can imagine that worship and stewardship falls hand in hand from my eyes. And so how I worship is kind of how I steward, or at least try to. I always fall short at times. So what I'd like to do first is to just quickly, to fall in line with that song Gratitude, is to tell you how grateful we as a church are for the outpouring of things that you have given over just the past year. Okay, so I just went quickly on to chat about it. We raised $3,500 in the vendor fair. We did the peanut butter and jelly fundraiser. We did the Super Bowl back there now, getting soup and stuff like that for the pantries. We did the breakfast for the kids. We did two food collections. We adopted 2 families during Christmas, and then besides adopting the 2 families, we also raised a lot of other money for that. We did the bread and loaves, $600. To cap it all off this year, we raised, in 4 months, we raised over $16,000 to put a new furnace in here. So again, these are all fabulous things that we have done. Fortunately, all of these things, we didn't have to touch our investments, which I'll talk about a little bit, our need to do that over the years. So again, these are all real positive things that people responded to the need and listened to God's calling. We had sent out some time and talent sheets. We also did sent out the pledge sheets. If you haven't handed that in, please do that. It's very difficult to do a budget without having pledge sheets. Sometimes people say, well, what if things change? All you have to do is call Sandra, tell her things have changed and you want to change your pledges. The one thing that we do offer, we offer what they call Simply Giving, where you can put in a form and your pledge actually gets taken right out of your checking account. Or you can put it on your credit card and get points for it. So again, whatever we can do to try to facilitate that. Just let us know, just ask us what we can do in order to help. So I just want to give you a little bit of just quickly give you a little bit of history. In 2017, we came together to form this new congregation. Our vision was to consolidate 2 churches. One of them was to form one congregation and to share God's good news. Now, if you look around, you will see so many new people here that wasn't here in 2017. You people that are new, you are their vision. You are part of our vision of what we wanted to accomplish. So we have over 20 people that have come here since 2017 and are still coming. So again, for the people that started off with this idea and stuff like that, these people are fruits of your labor. So again, this has been a real blessing to us as a church as we move forward. Let's see, like I said, we give you a little bit of history. So over 3 years, we've had some significant expenditures that we've had to dip into our investments. We've 3 roofs, and we had some remediation done within the building. And so this has changed our way of thinking on how we should handle certain things and how we're going to move forward in the future. We continue to have more expenditures than we do money coming in. So this is a concern of ours. And again, this will be as we move forward, we'll want to look for other ways to create some revenue. So as everybody, if you know me, you know I'm kind of an outside of the box thinker. And sometimes Pastor has to say no, and sometimes she says yes. So one of the things that I would like to propose is, so if you already have done a pledge, this is we'll be talking about the pledge that you've already given in addition to that. So we have 40 individuals / families that give to the church. Okay? So if we look at this as a group of 40 individuals, families, okay, and we move forward on it, if we took, first let me backtrack. So we're projected this year to take $36,000 out of our investment to balance the budget. Okay? So if you looked at that and you said, boy, that's a lot of money. I don't have that kind of money. Now if I said, okay, so with the people in the right, we're going to see if you could raise 30,000. And you said, I can't do that. But if we take the right people and the left people, okay, and looked at that, we took the 40 individuals, and we just said, if we said to you, or I say to you, if you could give an extra $5 a week, okay, and we did it for 52 weeks, and all 40 people did it, we would raise, you ready for this? For you math people, $10,400 extra. Okay, so if we did that, instead of taking 36,000 out, we would take 26,000. So for anybody that says, well, what if I can do more? So again, always know you can give more. Okay? So what the end result is, in order to make it work, or not necessarily make it work, but balance, okay, if 40 individuals gave $17.50 more per week on top of what they're already given, that would take care of $36,000. Okay, so that's $17.50 extra per week. That's not what. So if we're giving a certain amount, this would be on top of it. The one thing that I can't stress enough, and the finance committee and Pastor, you can close your ears, Sandra, close your ears. Giving is absolutely between you and God. This isn't between me and you. This isn't between Sandra and you. This isn't between Pastor and you. This is between you and God, how much you give. Whether it be pledges, whether it be time and talents, this is a direct, and again, my opinion, it's part of worship. Okay, how you worship God. I can give you ideas, but again, this is strictly between you and God. So again, that's an idea that I'd like to pass out. The one thing that we have started to do is to say, Greg, I just can't give anything. Okay, and again, that's okay. Okay, we appreciate what you're giving. What you can do, if you can, is we have a jug in the back for change. Bring your change in. Bring your. We also collect bottles for redemptions. You can either bring them in and drop them off, or you can drop them off at the 6 Cent Redemption Center in Lionsdale. So again, it's all part of the big piece. So if we do this collectively, this will make it less that we have a shortfall. I'm almost done. Sometimes reading certain parts in the Bible sometimes can be a little hard on our soul. This is one of those things that in Luke says, for everyone who has given much, who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much will be asked. Like I said, sometimes those verses can hit home. So in a little while, George Daniel will be presented for holy baptism. As Pastor Pamela makes the sign of the cross upon his forehead, I'm reminded of my baptismal call to love others, care for God's creation, and steward my gifts for the benefit of my neighbor. Our baptismal call invites us into a deeper understanding of Christian stewardship. All that we have and all that we are belongs to God. So thank you for taking the time, and for our visitors, thank you for giving me a little bit of grace to talk about these things that sometimes are difficult even for members of the church. So, and again, greetings to all of our visitors.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Greg, so much. Greg is our treasurer, and he does an incredible job. Okay, can you hear me now? All right, I said Greg is our treasurer. He does an incredible job keeping an eye on finances and just with ideas. And most of the time I say yes, just for the record. But so grateful for your talk. Thank you, Greg. If we could give him a hand. And our service.